Hello everyone, thank you for watching the interview video. I'm Atsushi, the organizer of the DevRelKaigi 2025. It is an international developer relations conference from Japan, and we will hold it on the October 2nd to 4th, 2025 at Tokyo. So, and in this interview session, talking with Pratham as one of the amazing speaker of it, about what you can expect to hear from them regarding the session. We hope it would be helpful for you to attend the conference. So I welcome the Pratham on the stage. Hi, Pratham.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And at first, could you please introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So I'm Pratham. I'm based in India. Right now, I've been working as a developer relations manager at APILayer. It's an sort of API hub that provides various APIs from different domains. Uh, Prior to APILayer, I was working at Hyperspace, a blockchain-based company. Before that, I was working at Rapid API. So you can say that ever since I started working professionally, I have been around APIs, building experiences for developers so that they can unblock themselves and use the APIs with very minimum friction or with very ease. So that's a little bit about myself. Uh, Apart from my professional journey, I am very active on Twitter. I love writing about APIs. I love writing about AI, social, and DevRel. I'm very active there. Across the years, I built a total following across social around 435,000 developers, which I really love. So yes, overall, you can say that I love interacting with the people on the internet. That's a bit about myself, I would say.
Oh, thank you. And can I ask you something about, at first, could you please introduce your company, API Layer? It's a Indian-based company, right?
No, no, no. It's a US based company. So it's a child company
Mhm.
of parent company called Idera. API layer is
Mm.
basically provide APIs like famous APIs. If I could name is IP stack, market stack, aviation stack. I'm not sure if someone here heard about it, but API layer provides APIs from different domains which developers can use in their internal or external applications. So that's what
Mhm.
API layer is all about. Yes.
I see. And I reading your profile and on the X, and you are the building a community,
Yes.
TrioTech.dev, right?
Yes,
So could you
exactly.
please
That's
introduce
my
more?
side business, you could say. So at Triotech, what we are trying to do is providing community building services to developer first companies because what pain I have noticed is that developer audience is bit uh, tough to target. I mean, you cannot go directly to developers and say, "Hey, look, this is the product, please buy it," because it's very difficult to actually excite any developers in the world. So what we
Mm.
do at Triotech is basically building communities first, try to provide or try to understand the developer's pain point, and according to that, we provide solutions. I mean, for developer first companies in order to get their first customer,
Mm.
which is of course developers. So we everything we do at Triotech is about developers.
I see. It's a consulting service or agency or something.
Uh, we love to call it a product, to be honest, Triotech. But
Mm.
on papers, officially, you can say it's, of course, an agency. We call it
Mm.
product because in order to reach out to the first developer, we first have to understand the product and build the tailored strategy or campaigns according to that. So it's more like an agency.
Mm. I see. It's nice. It's a
Yes.
very nice uh, solution for the tech company, I think.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's right.
See. So we are moving to the next topic about your session. So
Mm-hmm.
your session title is Building API Experiences Your Developers Love. So it's a
Yes,
very suitable title for your companies and your current job, I think. So could you please
exactly, exactly.
introduce your session, please?
This is the first time I'll be presenting this topic, by the way. So the reason behind I chose this topic is because ever since I became DevRel, or I started working professionally, I have been around APIs. I have been helping developers out there to use APIs with ease. Like first at Rapid API, now at API layer. So every campaigns, every developer focused thing I run, it's all about API developers. That's why I kind of picked this topic to talk about. And you see, API is a kind of a product. Some companies say that API is not a product, but our vision is that, of course, we consider APIs as products. The thing is, API is bit different. Like if you talk about some random front end framework, it would be much easier to build campaigns around it, because there is always some sort of visually elements associated with it, which you can show to developers and say, hey, look, this is how the final outcome will look like. But APIs is a bit hard, because the only source of truth is basically the JSON or XML data that any particular API returns. So it's a bit hard to show the actual thing to developers in a most accurate or direct way. That's why you have to do a lot of things around APIs if you really want to build experiences, or if you really want to attract developers or excite developers in order to use your APIs. So that's why I kind of picked this topic. And under this topic, if I can give you a brief overview right now, I'll definitely talk about what sort of campaigns I have run across years. Like maybe it could be like building sandbox, it could be like building playgrounds, minimizing the first time to hello world, so that developers don't basically, of course they need to authorize in order to use the API, but what we are trying to do is definitely give them the first glance of how the API will look like without much thinking about blockers or how they can authorize. So there could be multiple things that I'll be covering in this topic, which will, everything will be around how to build experiences for your developers so that they can use your APIs like a typical product. So that's all about it, if I can give you a basic overview.
I see. Thank you so much. And I have some question about that.
Sure.
So many developers prefer to use SDK rather than
Yes,
the API
exactly.
directly. So how should we uh, strategically approach about SDKs?
I think SDK is the bare minimum. If your company provides APIs, I think SDK is the bare minimum solution you can provide to developers. Apart from that, there could be 10 other things you can do, maybe building use cases, building a great documentation around your SDK itself. Because sometimes what I have seen, like I have been trying a lot of different API products across the years I have tried. And what I have seen is that some of the documentation associated with SDKs are not very clear. So it's like, it's very sensitive thing. If you're adding an SDK, that's best thing you can do for developers, because they can quickly test out your APIs. But if you're not doing it right, then it could also become a blocker. Because as a developer, if I go to SDK and if I don't know where the documentation is or how can I use it, it could be another blocker for me. Instead, I would simply make an API call using curl or some sort of VS code extensions I could have in my
Mhm.
IDEs. But yes, of course, SDK is the bare minimum thing you can provide. And I would say I'm not biased, but at least build SDKs in popular environments like JavaScript, Python, Ruby, or C++, something like this, something like these languages, which most often used by all type of developers. Of course, you
Mhm.
definitely need to do a proper developer segmentations. Like if you are providing some sort of API that are more relevant to mobile developers, then of course you need to think if whether you need to build a SDK in iOS or Python. Of course, you will prioritize iOS because that's where the mobile developers mostly building in. So this sort of brief developer segmentation or customer segmentation research you need to do
Mhm.
before building or providing SDKs. But yes, compiling my thing, I think SDK is the bare minimum thing you could provide as an API provider.
Mhm, mhm. I see. So currently we can use Code X or Cloud Call or something so about the AI coding agent. So,
Yes.
but most of vendors should provide in SDKs as officially or not.
Yes.
So every developers making like SDKs.
Mhm, mhm. I think I have a very very unique view of seeing this. Now we are definitely getting AI into the picture these days. So what I see is that what SDK is for humans is what MCP for AI or what MCP for
Mhm.
LLMs. So
Mhm.
nowadays I have been reading or listening a lot about building AI ready APIs, which definitely I'm going
Mhm.
to also cover in this talk. At least I'll make sure to put one slide around it, that how to make your API AI ready, because it's not anymore only about developer experience, it's more about AI experience or agentic experience these days. So if you
Mhm.
if you take everything in order to fulfill the developer experience, I think your next step should be building MCP is building other protocols so that LLMs out there
Mhm.
can interact to your APIs more conveniently, and you could provide better experience as well. So
Mhm.
that's the thing. I think one other thing, the new API DevRel got these days because of this all AI shift, which I really like. But yes, my point of view of seeing this is very interesting. It's very simple. What SDK is for humans is what MCP for AI.
Mhm. I see. So it means MCP server it become the API of the AI era, right?
Yes, yes, kind of.
Cool.
Like it's like it might not technically accurate, I would say, but from the perspective of understanding it, I think it's a bit easy. In simple terms, you can say that MCP helps LLM's application connecting your
Mm,
APIs. Like LLM definitely
mm,
needs some sort of data in order to give the better response. So how that data, or how, what is the source of that data? Of course APIs are the source of that data. So MCP helps LLMs connecting APIs, and then they can get better response for us.
I see. So the type of APIs available are increasing, like you said, the MCP server and the GraphQL, REST API, gRPC, something. So how should we strategically approach those tech, technology?
I love REST, to be honest. I'm
Mhm.
not sure
I
because
love
it's
it.
like it's
Yeah.
maybe because of the consistent designing, and maybe because of the ecosystem REST APIs has. I think 90% of the APIs out there should be or built around REST API. So I love REST.
Mm,
I have used a couple of GraphQL APIs as well, but GPRC I have never really used, to be honest, because I'm just a modern developer, or I'm very young in my career. That's why. But I think most of the APIs that APILayer also provides, they all are REST APIs. So
mm,
but again, my talk, it's not about the how designing the API or what
mm,
are the different constraints we have right now. It's about building experiences, and this is completely irrelevant to what sort of API you have, whether you have GraphQL API, whether you have REST API, or any other sort of design principle you used. My talk
mm.
will basically resonate with all sort of APIs out there.
I see. So our conference, our 3 days conference. So and
Hmm.
day two is business and marketing days, and day three is developer and community days. So
Hmm.
perhaps your session is suitable for day three, developer and
Developers,
community days. I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Because I don't think so any marketer or non-developer will ever use API. They will use the final front-end product built
Mhm.
across API. So this experiences that I have been talking about, this is more for developers audience. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So thank you so much, Profim. You have a lot of great experience about APIs, so we
Hmm.
look forward to hearing your session at the conference.
Sure. Thanks. It's my pleasure. See you in Japan
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, and I really hope you will also enjoy the conference and stay in Japan.
For sure. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, see you soon.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay, everyone's how was the interview? I will announce it again. Our conference, DevRelKaigi 2025, will be held on the October 2nd to 4th, 2025 at Tokyo. Tickets are now on sale. We hope your attendance. See you next interview. Bye.